Hi, this is Andy with Mountain Computers. It's December 30th, 2019, one of the last few days of the year. We just finished the letter E, the letter J, and this is going to be the letter L, and we're just going to do it. I mean, we only have so many hours left in this year, and I would love to get all the letters done. So I'm just going to go for it. L. L is for Linux, L1, L2, L3 cache, LAN, laptops, layers, Lazarus, LDAP, left, Let's Encrypt, Lexmark, Libre Office, LED, Lisa, LISP, load balancing, Lossy, Lossless, Lotus 1, 2, 3, which is synonymous to me with Quattro Pro. So let's talk about Linux. I know there's like 100 flavors of Linux, and if you go to Wikipedia and look at the Linux family tree, you'll just see the 3 different branches it comes from and how it spreads out, just like a family tree. It's amazing. Linux is amazing. I was running FreeBSD back in 1992, 93, and I didn't get good at it, but I knew about it, used it, had it on a 386 and a 486. And if I'd have really known where Linux was going to be today, I would have probably been way ahead. Even though I was a Microsoft guy, I'm really strong with Microsoft and all the Windows operating systems. I have to know Linux, and I loved Unix, so enough being said. Linux. Use VirtualBox, get some cheap computers, install your favorite Linux distro. You have to know server, you have to know client, you have to know the terminal, but love Linux, like Linux, even Microsoft. They're embracing Linux. I mean, the future's bright with Linux. Where do you make your money? Support services. The Free Software Foundation, all them, the FOSS group, all those things. You want software to be free, but like me, my Go Green PC tune-up, there's a fee. It's not free. There's parts that are confidential, there are parts that are internal, there's parts that are public, and there's discounts and stuff like that. So, hey, I just can't do it for free because I don't have any other source of revenue other than doing computer service and repair. So a value add. If you add value and do stuff, you just want to make millions and millions of dollars, a penny at a time, or $1 at a time, or $10 at a time. So anyhow, Linux. L1, L2, L3 cache. Let's talk about caching for a second. I learned this a long time ago. And when you buy your current processors, you'll see L1, L2, and L3. It'll be like 4, 4, and 8 meg, or something bigger. And it's usually in binary terms, 2, 4, 8, 8, 8, 16. And on your hard drives, it's even bigger, like 32, 64, 128 megabytes of caching. But when it comes to L1, L2, and L3, it really breaks down to caching performance, look ahead, read ahead, anticipating, the number of lanes, the number of bits you're using, so on and so forth. So really understand L1, L2, and L3 caching, okay? And then your maximum RAM when it comes to a motherboard. The maximum RAM that the CPU will read, regardless of the motherboard, and how those match up, and what the compatibility is. So understand L1, L2, and L3, okay? I've written some different business strategies, and I've called it like L3, L5 business strategies. So look for that in some of my PDF and PowerPoint presentations. LAN, local area network. Okay, local area network is just your computers on the same network in your home, in your business. It's pretty simple. We call it a domain. It's not like your .com domain, but local area network. Your printers, your scanners, PCs, Macs, wireless PCs. Make sure the wireless and the PCs are on the same network so they can talk to each other and talk to the same peripherals. Some routers don't allow that. They'll be on a 172 network for your Wi-Fi and a 192 network for your LAN devices, your true strict plugged-in RJ45 connections. So I try and have those to where they're all talking and seeing the same shared devices, especially in a business environment. AT&T tried to get a little funky. They were trying to do like, even Charter. They're doing like 44 networks and 10 networks and crazy networks. 172, 192, 10 dot networks. I mean, it's a little crazy, but as long as you know your network and everything's together and you're on the same LAN and you have one DHCP server that distributes IP addresses. You can't have more than 2 on a LAN, just 1 DHCP on one LAN. You can do some crazy stuff, but don't get too complicated, just keep it simple. I try and tell people I can teach you how to do LAN networking like in 30 minutes. Just keep it simple. It's a one-pager. Laptops. There's hundreds of laptops out there right now. L for laptops. My favorite laptop right now is probably an HP. In the past 10 years, I've had a couple of Toshibas. Oh, some really nice Toshibas. I've had some Asus. Oh, I used to love Sony's. I had Sony laptops forever. 3 or 4 different Sony laptops. Until Sony stopped doing them. But what's the best laptops? It's a horse race. You know, what's number one? And it's not the MacBook Pro. You know, there's Mac people and then there's PC people. So on laptops, I really look at screen size. I don't care about the touch screen. I like matte. I don't like glossy because I don't like fingerprints. Webcam, gotta have a webcam. Laptops, really comes down to the CPU, the RAM, and the hard drive. CPU, i5, A10, A8, quad core. Amount of RAM, 8 gig of RAM or higher. 16, usually 16 is the max for most laptops because it's power. DDR3, DDR4. We said the CPU, i5. Usually 2 gigahertz or higher. Anything less than 2 gigahertz on your CPU speeds, it's a little slow. Hard drive, SSD drives. Just throw in SSD drives now. Don't do mechanical. Some of the laptops are coming out with NVMe M2 chips. I like that. I don't like it. When somebody loses a hard drive or something, recovery of an M2 NVMe chip is very difficult unless you have the right tools, and those are very expensive. So it really comes down to mechanical drives or having good backups. When it comes to laptops, a plugged-in jump drive is not a backup if you're using the data off of it constantly and working on it, okay? You work on your computer on the hard drive. You make backups to an external jump drive or an external hard drive or the cloud. Don't read and write to your external devices as live devices and think of those as backups. I've seen too many losses. What else about laptops? Weight. 2 pounds, 3 pounds or less. Power connectors, AC, DC jacks. Be careful, folks. Fans, CPU fans. Optical drives in laptops, you know. Most of them aren't shipping with laptop, with internal CD-ROM drives. Just get an external one. The USB ports, gotta have 2 to 3. The ones that are coming with 1 or the Type-C connectors are a little wishy-washy. That's about it. Battery life. The batteries that are internal to the laptop versus external. I don't like the internal ones. You can't troubleshoot if there's a problem. You have to pull the back cover off. The external ones, not so common anymore, but I like them. Okay. Go to batdepot.com to get your batteries, laptop batteries. What else? Lazarus. That's a new programming language that I started using about 6 months ago. Haven't gotten deep into it, but L for Lazarus. It's platform independent. Your output will go to Android, Mac, and PC. So I think ARM too, I'm not sure. LDAP, Lightweight Directory Protocol, Access Protocol. That's Active Directory. Just Active Directory is Microsoft's way of saying LDAP. I've been using that for 30 years, ever since Windows NT, I think, or prior. I wrote down the word left, but I'll skip that one. Let's Encrypt. I have seen some companies using Let's Encrypt in a commercial enterprise environment. Good and bad. Let's Encrypt is free. It should be set to auto-renew itself every 90 days. There's good and bad to that because you have to do some integration for authorization with your DNS. I don't know. Just pay the 1-year fee or 2-year fee for $60-70 for a SSL certificate and install it and keep it, you know, your P2B, P7B backed up, okay, in a safe place. Lexmark. Lexmark was a great printer. We had some here when we first started the company, an E120N. Real small form fit, laser printer, monochrome. Awesome, awesome. Remember, I'm doing this for my own memory moving forward. It's not to show you how much I know. It's so that 5 years from now, I look at my videos and go, yeah, I remember that part. because as you get older, you start to forget things. So between my blog and these videos, this should help you understand there is a finite amount of things you can talk about, okay? Libre Office, great. There was Open Office, now there's Libre Office. Libre Office is the MSI installer. There's a 2503, 2505 error. If you just launched the MSI on a Windows 10, even Windows 7 machines, it's because it doesn't have enough permissions. So you basically, with Libre Office, it's a great product, it's free. If you can afford Microsoft Office, do so. Even, I like Libre Office for most of my people who just are home users, not doing anything but surfing the web, watching the news, Netflix, etc. They're not doing a lot of word processing. The Excel compatible, the PowerPoint compatible stuff, all that stuff, it's great. Okay, so Libre Office. Anything more? Open Office, Libre Office. That's about it. LED technology on your displays, LCDs. There are some comments about that, which is better, it really comes down to the size of your screen and the cost. And you can tell with contrast and brilliance and all that stuff, so don't get crazy. Make sure your televisions, if you have OLED TVs or whatever, they have the smart hub on them, the smart technology. And turn off all the stuff that reports back everything you're watching to the manufacturer. That privacy thing that nobody tells you about. If you're running the network and your smart television is plugged into it, you'll see all these lookups from the phone or from your television going back to some Samsung, Sony manufacturer's website or Toshiba or whatever. So turn off that. Lisa, oh my goodness, and Lisp. Lisa was an Apple computer. Before there was Apple Computer, there was Lisa. It was very expensive. It was awesome computer. But anyhow, great computer, Lisa computer. Lisp, that's an AI programming language from a long time ago, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. Still works today from what I understand. I never programmed in it, but I saw it when I was working in my high school days up at the Southern Oregon State College. Load balancing, that's real simple. I worked in ISPs for 15 years. You have web caching, load balancing, and now everything's software, cloud-based. Really, that's load balancing is, there's lots of ways to do the math on this one. So when you think about load balancing, you could write your own load balancing techniques. I did. My friend Ed and I, when we worked at Microsoft together, when we both left, we started a company called WebStew. And we created our own load balancing interfaces for our databases and applications that were going out there. That was in 2000, 2001, 1999. We started it and then the dot-com bomb hit. So Ed and I, we had a great idea. We worked on it for a year or two and we missed the market window. The market crashed. But load balancing, we were writing our own stuff before that stuff really was mainstream. So it was cool. Lossy, lossless. We talked about that in the last letter, JPEG. So there's lossless and lossy image formats. So just know them, know the difference. With JPEG, you can get the file size really small and lose a lot of clarity, quality, but then you can also have 8 is a magic number when it comes to optimized JPEG. Just like PNG. Lotus 123 and Quattro Pro. I can't say Lotus 123 without saying Quattro Pro, even though Q is a different letter. In Owens Hall at Oregon Institute of Technology, there was a lab for the business people that just had Quattro Pro and Lotus 123 in it. And the teachers over there, they weren't computer systems engineering people, they were business teachers. But they knew how to use, basically information systems. It's a separate degree now. It's not the same as computer science, computer engineering. Information systems. People who get information systems degrees don't get paid the same as engineers. I mean, they try to be and they want to be, but they don't. We had other laboratories over in Owens, over in what we call not Purvine. It's called Bovine Hall now. Oh, it's called South Hall. That's right, I remember South Hall. We had 3 computer labs, an XT, 286, and 386 lab, and then a 486 lab. And I remember us in campus computing having to go over to Owens Hall from time to time and helping out with their networking. And I saw Quattro Pro and Lotus 123. I had a customer in the store just last week with Lotus 123 still on their computer. I was like, how do you do that? I mean, it's Windows 7 and it works. And she was like, oh my God, I just love Lotus 123. I have another guy, an accounting guy, who just loves Quattro Pro. So, enough said about L. Fast topic, fast letter, end of year. Again, this is Andy with Mountain Computers. Like, subscribe, and share, the Go Green PC Tune-Up Guy. Be sure to put your comments below, and I'm going to get this posted and get to the next one. I'm thinking about it because I got customers coming in real quick, so I better stop this, okay? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.